You know, sometimes the most important things that you have to do are the things you do last. Why are we like that? Oh, I got cataract surgery, so I don't really need to wear my glasses anymore. I have perfect vision in one eye. I can see the dancers. What the fuck's going on up there? But I don't know why this chapter is so hard. I was just struggling with the fact, I said the book was memorable tricks, and then I started talking about all the tricks, and I was like, oh God, is that all that's going on? But I just wanted to get this done. There was one last one that I got to tell you about, Antonio. And it kind of paints a whole big transition in my life at that moment. We're going to get I've already started outlining another book. I want to do a book about all the things that I've been very lucky and had a lot of masters, like really tremendous, in not only in business, but in art and in ballet and in music and in life and making money, managing businesses. So I've had a lot of really great masters, and because my career moved all over the place, I always went looking for the guys that knew everything. But I wanted to tell you a story about Antonio. You know, I'd gone to Rome to work for a Bayesian company as a stockbroker, and a whole bunch of things happened all at once. I'd been a broker in Vancouver and Toronto, and I just wanted to work in Europe. And I got a job, decent job. It didn't work out. The guy didn't want to pay me. He was a fucking asshole. And before on my way to Rome, I'd gone to Switzerland to see Maharishi, to just see what was going on. I hadn't really cut my cord with that cult. It'd really become kind of a crazy cult. And I'd gone to see Maharishi, and he said, yeah, come on up. I had to wait about 4 hours or something. You know, it's like seeing the Queen. Anyway, I went in a room. There was about 6 or 7 people in there with a private audience with a guy. You know, he's the big guy, the Beatles and everybody. He was raking in millions. We had 2, 3, I don't know how many millions all over the world, followers, doing a meditation and yoga. And, anyway, I went in to see him. I wanted to ask him, you know, I was running, before the broker deal, I was the coordinator for all the student societies in Eastern Canada, and I was lecturing on meditation, and I think I instructed about 600 people, and sometimes I was a good public speaker. I learned how to do public speaking, which was not a bad skill, really. I can get up in front of 300, 400, 500 people and give a talk. You know, if I'm a little bit of an outline, I don't piss my pants or get all nervous or anything. I just do it. Quite fun, actually. Anyway, I was in a room with the Maharishi, and there's 5 or 6 other people, and I looked around, and these people were all nuts. They were nuts. They were, you know, going through all these, you know, wacko, because they were in their mind, he was Jesus. He was the saint. And so they were, you know, really kind of flipping. And I looked around, and then Maharishi said to me, do you have something? And I realized in that moment, no, I don't have anything to say. Nothing to say to you. You're just another man. And they're all nuts, and it had become a cult. You know, they'd started doing that bullshit about flying. You know, you're not flying. They were all sitting cross-legged and hopping in the air, and then they were saying they were flying. You know, that's just bullshit. You know, one thing I learned as a stockbroker, the only way to make money is with absolute honesty and integrity, and then research and good financial decisions. So anyway, I'd had it with him. But there was a course at that time in Spain somewhere, and I knew a bunch of guys there. You know, I wanted to seduce a few of them probably. People that I had instructed in meditation, and they were now there on a teacher training course to become teachers of meditation. So I made a side trip to, left Rome. I went to, when the job didn't work, I said, well, fuck it, I'll just go see my friends in Spain. And I went there for a few days, and I realized they're all just as nuts as the other ones. And I really didn't want to have anything to do with any of them. You know, there's something about people when you're in a cult. When you're in the cult, everything's fantastic, but when you're not in the cult, everybody in it just looks like they're nuts. It just seems like all cults start with a lie. And it's a very important part of the process, became evident with the way Trump did his cult thing. You want to start with a lie, a big lie, and you want to find out all the people who will fall for the lie, because that's the suckers. And you need suckers so you can take their money. You're not going to get it from sane people. So you put the lies out there and see what you can catch. It's like a big fishing net. But all the cults do that. All of them, even the religions. And we'll be doing a ballet about that. Posada, the truth about Mary. But all of them have a lie. And there's a reason. It works. They're in it to make money. And they were, you know, delusional. So anyway, I said, well, I'll take a trip, see a few things. I had a plane in, I think, 5 or 6 days out of Madrid back home. I'm gonna go back to Vancouver. And so I said, well, I want to see Gibraltar. So I got on the bus or the train, I forget what, probably the buses and the trains. Spain was still under Franco, and it was very underdeveloped at the time. So I took the bus, I'm pretty sure it was a bus, to Gibraltar, right on the south there, Algeciras, that was it. So I had to go to Algeciras, and the border was closed at that time between Gibraltar and Spain. There was no way to get across. The only way you could go was to take a ferry to Ceuta, North Africa, and then get on another ferry from there to Gibraltar. So that was the only way out, in and out, unless you flew from somewhere. So anyway, I took the ferry over to Ceuta. Hated it. North Africa is just not for me, you know. Southern France, maybe. You know, Monte Carlo, more one of those kind of guys. But anyway, actually flew into, I flew into Gibraltar. I got a flight out of Casablanca or Tangiers or something, and flew back to Gibraltar and spent a couple days there. Found a little place and didn't go see anything really. I just like to be, you know, I like to be alone. I found this little place around the backside of Gibraltar, and I remember reading Günter Grass's Tin Drum. And I sat in the room for a couple of days and just read the book, and then decided I wanted to go home. So to go home, you had to take a ferry from Gibraltar to Ceuta and then back again. And this time I didn't fly, I just took the ferry over. It was an hour or 2 hours or something. You could almost see North Africa from Gibraltar. Take the ferry over and then took the ferry back. On the ferry back, I met this guy. And there's a lot of anti-Franco Spaniards. The men were living in North Africa because, you know, they'd be arrested, and, you know, there's a lot of persecution of opponents of Franco. He's kind of a Putin character. Hitler put him in power. So on the ferry back, I met this guy, and he was going to La Linea. We were yakking up a storm. Kind of a nice guy, but it wasn't my type, you know. I don't know, too over-groomed or something. So he said, well, why don't you come? I'm going to visit my friend. And come on, and we'll go have dinner and have drinks. And I drank then. I'm an alcoholic, so I was never turning down booze. So I picked up a bottle of scotch, and we went and picked up his friend. And his friend was Antonio. Oh my God. He was like, oh, it's just my cup of tea. So anyway, we went out that night and we bought a bottle of Johnny Walker Red, I think, the cheaper stuff, maybe a bit black, I don't know. I took the bottle and we went from bar hopping, and we got drunker and drunker. Well, I just focused, you know, me and Antonio, we just like, there was nobody else in the world. He didn't know English, and I, you know, me and my fumbling around Spanish, we carried, and I think I gave him a lecture on transcendental meditation and transcending and all. I don't think he heard a fucking word I said, but it don't matter. So we had something to eat. We were drinking, bar hopping for about 3 hours, and then he said, well, I didn't have a room. He said, no, come and stay with us. So why not? Save 20 bucks. And I went back, and they had a little house, and it was his mother's house, because the men couldn't live in Spain. They would have been arrested and maybe killed, who knows. A lot of people disappeared under Franco. So we went back to his house, and in the house was his mother and his younger brother and sister of Antonio. It was Antonio's house. And he said, let's go to bed. So we went into the one bedroom. It's all open air, you know, there's older style. There's not all the walls and windows and shit like we have now. We went back into we went to bed, And the friend that I'd met on the ferry was in the room as well. And he passed out on the sofa, and Antonio and I hopped in the sack. Well, as soon as we got in there, it was like he just like wanted to roll me over, and I was like, whoa, hang on there, buddy. We need a little foreplay or something. So anyway, it turned out to be quite a fantastic evening. He was just absolutely perfect, absolutely flawlessly, physically flawlessly perfect, gorgeous, Spanish, European, tall, thin, gorgeous, handsome, cute, beautiful skin, and were out, and his friend is passed out 3 feet away, and the kids are in the next room, probably heard everything. So it was quite a night. It was incredible. And in the morning we got up, and his mother made us all breakfast and stuff, and we headed out. And then I noticed they made him and his friend were making a couple of jokes, and it was quite clear to me that everybody in there knew what had happened. Yeah, it was kind of weird, kind of uncomfortable at that point. And we wandered around a bit. I got a room. I hadn't slept in the whole night, so I got a room and I went to sleep. The little town was called La Linea. I went from there I had to go back to Sevilla, so I took the bus, I think the bus or the train to Sevilla. I think it was a train, really old, slow train. Nothing was high speed then. Took the train back to Sevilla and had a crazy night in Sevilla that I'll tell you about another time. It's actually too vulgar. I can't put it in the book. I just can't do it. I drew it and went home. So that was a whole big transition. I was leaving, really finally cut the cord with transcendental meditation, headed with that, didn't know what I was going to do, went back to Vancouver, and then started a business there, bought a framing store, I think, bought and sold that, and started a yogurt company, and started making a shitload of money, and then lost it all. You know, restaurant business is a tough one. You have one winner, one mediocre one, and one black hole in space, and just sucks everything dry. So from there, I went to Hawaii. And the next chapter is really going to be to finish off Hawaii. It was really a transformational time in terms of my relationships with other people. To actually have a real meaningful relationship with an adult man, a real man. And all the fighting and all that stuff, the drama and then the tragedy. And that'll be the next 2 chapters, and then we're done with it. Then we're going to get on to all the things my masters told me. And I think hopefully that'll be more enlightening. You know, I don't need to get into all the gruesome details of sex. We all know what it is. I think the situation that you enter into that great spiritual, physical pleasure, emotional pleasure, and what happens because of it is more important than the actual stuff. You can all go watch a porn video if you want to see what the hell was going on. We're almost done. You know, I don't know why this is taking me 3 months. The next 2 should be easier, but I just have a lot of shit going on. You know, with the painting and the ballets and librettos and the gala coming up. I'm having a ball. I'm really having a ball. If you have a good life and you work hard, and I hope everyone gets this kind of reward at the end where you can just do what you want pretty much and help as many people as possible and have a fabulous time. Anyway, chapter 8 will be next.